Hi guys, a very good morning. Mamukase. So I'm back so that we talk about what is really happening in the nation of Zimbabwe, especially regarding the matter of President Mnangagwa and Susan Mutami. It is a matter of interest because it affects us as a people. Tinashe Maponga, thank you very much for coming, Tinashe Maponga. So we need to play this audio. When Zim-I hosted a space, there was a very big expose by Comrade Never Maswerasei, who is campaigning online for Cde Kasukuwere and the G40 team. So I need to get into that audio so that you hear and understand their position and what they say regarding all this matter. And you get a lot of insights from that audio. Let's listen from the audio so that you get the gist of the story.
Good evening, everybody. Yeah, good evening, Maswerasei. Yeah, good evening to you, sir.
Yeah, it is quite unfortunate that this case has, brought to the fore the absence of, a society that is serious about these issues. A society that is to the extent that everything has to be polarized and everything has to be politicized. I agree with everything that Jabulo was saying. The crux of the matter is that we are having a case where a minor was raped when she was 15. Okay, and at that particular time, she made it clear that the wife to the alleged rapist took out a gun, pointed the gun to her. You can put yourself in the shoes of a 15-year-old at that particular time, being threatened with a gun to say you want to blackmail my husband, you want to be sent to prison forever. So if you're going to go out there and say this, I will shoot you. Okay? That is traumatic for life. It's life-changing in a child's life. It damages. Okay? The moment that happens to a 14, 15, 16, 17, even 18-year-old, their life changes, their behavior from that experience is going to change forever. This is life-threatening. This is permanent damage, okay, to the minds of the children that are involved in that particular age. So the after behavioral patterns that follow, you see what happens with I'm now talking from a sociological perspective. These things can be checked that I'm saying now. Anybody can open the pages and check them. Okay? These things are there. What happens with the rape victim is that when they have been raped, whether once, twice, 3 times, repeatedly, there is a tendency of them gravitating towards the abuser. Okay? For the reasons of, one, fear of the unknown. They don't know what's going to happen to them. So they're too afraid to the extent that they cannot run away. They cannot decide to leave. There is no room for them to leave. Okay. And then the second reason being that of a child who doesn't have any other option. Because remember, we are dealing with a child who was taken away by the alleged rapist and said, okay, fine, told that I will be paying your school fees. You are talking of a child who's informed to, she has an ambition of completing her secondary education. Okay? There's nobody else to assist in that particular time. So she's stuck there.
So let me try to change my gadget and put a gadget with more volume here. I think this gadget does have low volume.
Leave this place, which is what she did. Okay, so they gravitate towards their abuser for various reasons, including the ones that I've mentioned. And then in the process, or after, over and above everything that is happening around them, they begin to behave in a manner that can be characterized as promiscuous. Why? Because they have lost self-esteem. Okay? This is sociological. This is from a sociological perspective. They have lost all self-esteem, all self-confidence. They've lost their identity of who they are. So now they're trying by all means to fit in. I'm glad that Susan made it clear that I was trying to find closure. I was trying to find a way to close this gap within me by being involved in these multiple relationships afterwards, years later. This thing, remember I said, is permanent, right? So that behavior then becomes a permanent behavior in that child. But how did it start? It started from the day that she was what? She was sexually taken advantage of, okay, by somebody that she considered a custodian. Okay, so now the long and short of it is, we are not here to, like Jabulo said, judge whether or not Susan moral behavior after that is going to, be the ticket that takes it to heaven or not. But we are here to focus on the matter, or this matter of rape that happened when this child was 15. If you get somebody who comes and asks, how come she was quiet all these years and only opening up now, that line of questioning is either plain ignorant or it's deliberate manipulation, deliberately aimed at twisting the narrative or controlling the narrative to say no, because you see the president, we are now almost getting into the campaign season, so he's campaigning for his second term, so they want to politicize it. But a person will hold on because time, number one, time is the greatest healer in terms of gathering yourself back together and gaining that confidence that you need in order for you to be able to, have the strength to speak out. This is exactly the same scenario that happened with victims that were involved in R. Kelly's case. These are cases that are going as far back as 10, 15, 20, 25 years backwards, okay? The prosecution or the judicial system in the United States did not care about why now or where is the evidence, okay? The fact that these people come out in the open and narrate how things happened and how they were raped, the graphic details that they give of how things happened, morally, it would not be, possible for somebody to come out and say, this is exactly what happened, and this is exactly what did not happen, and this is exactly what happened on this particular day, and we were in this kind of a compromised environment or in this kind of environment. It comes from somebody who is in pain, who has now gathered enough courage to speak out because she is matured now in terms of age, and she has found time to speak with herself and to put herself together and be strong to tell her story. So for somebody to question the time frame, it could be a coincidence, just a coincidence that somebody, this is a head of state who who is, about to hit the campaign trail for a second term, whatever. But that is besides the matter. The point is, there is need for this matter to be investigated. And the best and only scenario that should happen, or that has to be allowed to happen, is for this person. We don't care the office, even if it was a police officer, even if it was a garden boy, even if it was what, we don't care the status. We don't care the status of the person. He has to step down and allow investigations to commence in this matter, because he cannot continue, because this is the apex of failure at statesmanship level. This is the apex of failure. You cannot continue business as usual in Zimbabwe simply because he is the head of state, and therefore we should let sleeping dogs lie, or we should forget about this because, look, this is the head of state and there's nothing you can do about it. No, there is something that you can do about it. If he doesn't want to step down, the parliament has got the power to move a motion for impeachment. Impeachment has to happen. Impeachment has to happen if he doesn't want to step aside and allow investigations, right? And then coming to Gugu, I'm afraid I don't know why she doesn't know these things. She's a doctor. She was supposed to know better, like Jabulo said. She was supposed to know better that there's an impeachment route that is available. Fine, to answer her or to provide some green light into what she was suggesting in terms of reporting. Susan is in Australia. Susan can choose to proceed by way of opening a case with Interpol. Interpol has got the authority and the power to then move in and consider arresting Emmerson Mnangagwa in foreign soil, on foreign soil, wherever it might be, whether it goes to Zambia, whether they decide to get him arrested when he goes to Russia or when he goes wherever. Interpol can make that discretion. But Susan, yes, she has got that as an option. Whether there's somebody who talks to her, who is listening, or if she's listening, I wanted to know that she has got that option to consider opening a case with Interpol. This is a case which is involving a state president of another country in which she's not residing. And the reason why she has chosen to report via Interpol is because she's afraid of what might happen to her if she decides to come back to Zimbabwe and open the case in Zimbabwe. So that is another avenue. It's an option that Susan has at her disposal to consider. So those are the two most plausible options available. Reporting via Interpol and Parliament impeachment. Those are the only two available options, because you can't sue Mnangagwa in Zimbabwe because the constitution of Zimbabwe states that he is immune to prosecution within borders. Again, I don't know why Dr. Gugu was being, or was overlooking this, whether she was doing it deliberately, because I don't want to believe that she doesn't know this. I think she was just being deliberate. But you cannot literally, even if Susan was in Zimbabwe today, it was going to be a complete waste of time for her to go to the police and open a case, because the constitution of Zimbabwe makes it void ab initio. It's a nullity from the beginning. You cannot open a case against the head of state. Okay? So the only two available options are those ones that I mentioned. So I am so disappointed with the various women's organizations in Zimbabwe that have remained quiet, yet they continue collecting donor funds to, under the guise of, caring for women's rights and, the right of the jail child. we've got so many women's organizations. Just to mention a few, we've got Musasa Project. I'm not saying why. I'm not being personal. I'm just mentioning them. We've got Musasa Project. We've got Women Coalition of Zimbabwe. We've got Women Development Association. We've got Girls and Women Empowerment Network. We've got Shamari Mwanasika. We've got Childline Zimbabwe. Where are they? None of them has issued anything. None of them has issued a statement. Has anybody asked themselves why is it that these organizations have not issued any statement regarding this matter? Because they claim to represent victims in these kind of circumstances. And according to their charters, they don't represent victims. There is no specific period over which they represent victims. To say we only represent victims that were affected between 5 and 10 years. No. Their charters simply state that they represent victims of one abuse or the other. Okay, but they are quiet. They have not said anything. This thing came out on Sunday. We were expecting them to be issuing statements. Okay, they must be able to function independent from the politics of the country, to know that, look, we are not politicians. We don't care how the politicians are going to react. We are doing our job. We are, according to our mandate, of defending the rights of the girl child and women in general. They are supposed to freely issue statements that are, making it clear that this is unacceptable from a head of state of an economy, of a nation that is considered functional and progressive. Now, if we have everybody quiet and then we continue as business as usual, then the politicians, that's how they get away with it. They get away with it because they know they have created a patronage system where there is nobody within that system who can oppose them. And that patronage system, they know that once they see none of these civic organizations coming out in the open to say something, they know that that patronage system is now permeated through the civic sector as well. And they'll be smiling and saying, look, you see, they are defending us because they cannot say anything. They are afraid of us. And therefore, our patron, we must continue to do what? We must continue to exert it upon them. And they're not helping matters, the civic organizations. They have to learn to differentiate or to distance themselves, to disassociate themselves from the politics of the day and carry out their mandates. I was expecting at least one or two of these organizations to have issued a statement. A statement doesn't remove Emerson Mnangagwa from office. No, it doesn't. But they are fulfilling their mandates. But why they are not doing it, we don't know. That's where you will begin to have people now coming up with all sorts of, conspiracy theories to say probably they are getting paid by the ruling party to shut up. They are being paid some form of shut up money or something because they're not saying anything. If you don't say anything, we begin to think that you are an appendage of the patronage system, which is very wrong. Anybody who is trying to politicize this, I'm sorry, their reasoning is damaged beyond repair, because this has got nothing to do with politics. Okay, we don't care about the character of Susan or whatever. Character of which she's been blamed of a behavioral challenges that came about as a result of the initial sexual abuse that happened when she was 15. Nobody's caring about that. To analyze how did she begin to start behaving, she made it clear in the audios that this has affected, this has affected how she relates to people. But everybody's ignoring that. They just want to nail her. Why? Because she's considered a promiscuous person, a bed hopper who sleeps with, who has slept with almost every politician, who is clean. If we have to have a magnifier and say let's see everybody pass through this magnify, want to check how many people you've slept with. Who will volunteer to come? Now it looks like Susan is the only one who has dated multiple politicians, but how do we know about those that are accusing you of that, or that are laughing it? They want to laugh it away. Who is clean? Nobody is clean. So people cannot use that to want to take advantage of that and say, no, because she's been bed hopping and whatever. Who hasn't been bed hopping? Kembo Mohadi resigned from a position as vice president of the country over allegations of multiple sexual relations with married women that had consented, okay, to that. Here we are dealing with a case of where a minor was involved. Okay, he resigned. He was asked to resign. Mnangagwa himself asked him to resign. So now we are saying it's his turn, because this is worse than Kembo Mohadi's case. This is worse. So if this is the worst of scenario, if it's a worst case scenario, then Mnangagwa should have tendered his resignation, by the end of business on Sunday, or by the end of business on Friday. He was supposed to tender his resignation, or even to say, no, I'm prepared to step aside, not necessarily step down, but I'm prepared to what? Probably to be given leave of absence while I allow investigations into this. That is integrity. If he is innocent, what is he afraid of? Why can't he do it? He believes he's got support. He believes he's got majority support in Zimbabwe, across the political divide. Why would it be so difficult if he has got the majority support? Why would it be so difficult for him to step aside and allow investigations to happen? Because if you have got majority support, you can clearly say, well, I will give myself, I will ask the cabinet, and the parliament or whatever to give me leave of absence to allow investigations into this. He hasn't even bothered to respond, even to issue a statement to this himself, because he is the one who is being alleged to have raped Susan. But he is quiet like nothing. He's continuing like business as usual. Why? Because he's taking advantage of people's ignorance, and he's taking advantage of the patronage system that he has, the ruling elites have created in the country. This is so wrong. So for now, I will end here and say, I'll find ways to reach out to Susan and advise her to say, look, you've got Interpol. You can pursue that avenue. And also then continue to try and make sense to Parliament for them to see that there's a need here for them to consider impeachment. Bill Clinton was impeached for what? For the allegation of relations with his former aide in the White House, Monica Lewinsky, isn't it? It happened. Okay, so there's precedence to these things, man. But didn't he survive the impeachment? Impeachment doesn't always mean. The thing is, our understanding of politics is so shallow. When we hear the word impeachment, then we only worry about one outcome. We think if the president is going to be impeached, then that's the end of it. No, Bill Clinton was impeached, but he came out of it. Do you see where I'm coming from? So it doesn't mean that if we say Mnangagwa is asked for a leave of absence for this thing to be investigated, then it means he's going to be convicted, or if he is asked for,
So you're dead.
If the government proceeds with impeachment, then it means Mnangagwa is going to be out of office. No, it's not automatic. It depends with the outcome of the impeachment. So why is it that people are being conclusive to say no? Impeachment is the ruling elites, the ruling party. They can't have impeachment. Can't have him impeached because they are afraid of him losing power. Whatever. How do they know that he's going to lose power? So this is what we want people to look at this issue objectively, with non-political lenses. This is an issue that is serious, of a serious nature. I'm expecting those women's organizations to disassociate themselves from the politics of the day and carry out their mandates as civic organizations that represents the interests of women. Thank you very much.
So you have heard from Comrade Never Maswerasei, who is a G40 member and who is also publicly campaigning for Serbia. Kasukuwere, my audio is okay. So this is what is very important for us to note. Honestly, this issue must not be politicized. This issue must be treated as it is. It must be investigated. Evidence must be presented, and everybody must be answerable. That is going to give the people of Zimbabwe confidence. On the few months we have left with, we are going to have confidence that we will reach to 2023. Why? Our safety as a people is very important. Because if they continue to politicize these things and say, kune vanhu vari kuronga zvinhu zvakadai so, ndivananingi vari kuzvironga, ndivananingi vari kuzvironga. If they continue to do so, the people of Zimbabwe are going to lose confidence in the system. The people of Zimbabwe are going to begin to question and to panic, to say, so what is really happening? Because you cannot continue to accuse other people. If you go to the economy, they accuse other people. If you go to various things, they are accusing other people. So I don't know, kuti zvinosvika kupi, but I hope and believe that the president is going to respond to the allegations as requested by each and everybody, because that is the view of the citizens of Zimbabwe. This issue is non-political. This issue is not based on hatred. It is based on the allegations placed by somebody who is claiming to be a victim. We cannot dismiss her. We cannot dismiss her allegations. We cannot defend anybody. We need to hear both sides answering this issue. So let's wait for Sunday. Honorable Temba Mliswa, so this is it in Zimbabwe. I brought to you Comrade Never Maswerasei what he said regarding this matter. And he raised very important issues and very important points here. So thank you very much. Please like, please comment, please share this video. And also don't forget to turn on the notification bell. I promised earlier that I will be starting to cover my constitutional studies as well as my parliamentary issues. Just because of time, I have been failing, but I hope that I will manage with 9 p.m. every day, 9 p.m. on daily basis, a study. If we do a constitutional study at 9 p.m., the next day at 5 a.m., we must have a parliamentary coverage. So that is it, Team Zimbabwe. These are the issues we are working on. I believe that I'm now ready to run out or to roll out all those programs because my system is now in place. It's quite better now. So I hope and believe that I'm going to do them, and so that we discuss extensively what really needs to be done. We look at various issues. We look at the performance of the parliament, the performance of the MPs, the ministers, the constitution itself, and as well as the performance of the judiciary and the law enforcement agencies. So we need to have an opportunity where we attend to each and every issue as it is. To say, when there is an issue, we look at the legal recourse of that issue. So my hope is that if there is a lawyer, or if there are advocates, or if there are human rights activists, or whoever who believe that he can partake or he can be part of those discussions live on this platform, based on the constitution, as well as the parliamentary issues, please feel free to get in touch with me on the number appearing on the screen. Then we will come at 5 a.m. and at 9 p.m. every day. That is what we need to do. So so you have to choose. So if you can come earlier, like 4 a.m., you can come. Then we will premiere the live during the day. So you can come at any time. I'm free, and at any time contact me. Then we do a live. We premiere at a certain point. That is Ganatkaita and Marara. But this is it in Zimbabwe. these are the programs we will be rolling out very soon. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for your support. Toramba tichi subscriber, toramba tichi like. Thank you very much for your contributions and your comments on this platform.